pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. It is review of the agenda and adoption of the agenda. Is there anything that needed to be changed? If not, then
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
motion by Ms. Hall,
Second.
second by Mr. Bennett. All those in favor say aye. Motion carries 4-0. All right, consider approval of minutes for February 27th, 2024 regular meeting. Anything need to be changed there, or we're good to go? Anybody like to make a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Bennett,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Dorsey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Consider approval of minutes for the February 28th, 2024 special meeting.
I'll make the motion to approve those minutes.
Motion by Ms. Hall, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ben, you don't vote.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't there. Sorry.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. All right, Clark County Public School recognitions. Ms. Bush. Yes, I didn't charge this today. I thought I did.
Good evening. On behalf of the Clark County Public Schools, we'd like to extend a sincere congratulations to our outstanding victory of our students from our 2023-24 school spelling bee winners. Your excellent spelling skills and composure under pressure were truly impressive. We were amazed by your ability to correct spelling challenged words throughout the competition. Your hard work and dedication clearly paid off. If you will please help us in congratulating Brody McKenna. Thomas.
You want to hang here for just a minute, we'll get a picture.
Cheyenne Heisel. Miss Davis.
You ready?
Ready?
That'll be champion.
Hold it up.
There we go.
Right, okay. Thank you all.
Years ago, I was faced with the challenge of students coming to school but needing to see a physician in a timely manner. A high school classmate of mine worked with Bluegrass Community Health Center at the time and suggested we partner together with this dilemma. The clinic answered to call our partnership, and here we had our little clinic born. The clinic offers office appointments, walk-ins, as well as a mobile school visit unit on our Clark County School Cafe bus. And thank you, Food Department. And this summer, Mr. Howard graciously gave one of our surplus buses to them, so they will have their own beauty. I think she's getting prettied up right now. And she will have her first maiden run soon, maybe? The next step is to expand the clinic to a larger area at the Vault Road campus. Mr. Howard and I had the opportunity to watch the Kentucky Department of Ed award in October 2023. There were only 2 recipients of the Kelly Award recipient for Business and Educational Partnership. That's a mouthful. And guess what? Our clinic was one of those recipients. Mr. Howard said it best. Together, we have created a healthier and happier community where knowledge and care intertwines to empower individuals to thrive. We're also breaking down barriers regarding availability. So if you will please help us recognize our wonderful clinic, Ms. Tara Cruz, Ms. Elizabeth, and Ms. Vaughn.
Oh, we'll get a picture, definitely.
Ready? All right. Thank you all very much. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Jennifer.
We would like to express our sincere appreciation for our outstanding work and dedication of our Clark County social workers. They are consistently demonstrating exceptional skills and commitment in their role as social workers. Their empathy, problem-solving, advocacy, and instructional ways of helping our students with resources, being advocates for their well-being, and providing their time for their crisis interventions. At this time, please help us to recognize Ms. Victoria Zunakis, Mr. Jason Camille, and Mr. Barrett Smith.
Here we go. Thank you all.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate all.
Campbellsville University began the Excellence in Teaching Award Program in 1987 with the assistance of Mr. Earl Aaron and the Ward Cundiff and Aaron Memorial Fund. The purpose of the program is to recognize the quality of teaching and learning taking place in a school system throughout Kentucky. Through the awards program, Campbellsville University presents certificates to teachers in each grade level as selected by their school district. Over 3,000 teachers had been honored with this program's inception. We are here tonight to honor 3 of our own. If we have Ms. Stephanie Rice. Miss Jefferson, we're here tonight. I'm sorry, I gave you my notes for the
Ms.
last
Brownlee.
one. Thank you.
You do a Kagan strategy here, is it?
Thank you, Ms. Michelle.
Sorry. Ready?
Oh, I'm born ready this group.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Tonight, we are going to honor our Family Resource Youth Service Coordinators in Appreciation Week. This actually happened in February, but we had other engagements. We could not, it was a conflict of the dates, so we would like to take this time to honor them. And this is the Mayor's Proclamation, Ms. JoEllen Reed. Whereas Family Resource and Youth Service Centers remain the academic barrier to student achievement, bridge the gaps to needed resources, and collaborate the resources of schools and communities for the success of students, families, and communities. Whereas our community of Winchester, Clark County, is serviced by 8 Family Resource Centers that have been assisting our students with school community resources to bridge gaps and remove non-cognitive barriers to learning. Whereas Family Resource and Youth Service Centers develop a system of support in our local communities and provide opportunities for children, families, and the community that allow all students to learn and the community to thrive. Whereas Family Resource and Youth Service Centers Appreciation Week celebrates February the 5th through February the 9th, recognizes, raises awareness of, and celebrates more than 887 family resource centers around our state and our Commonwealth. Now therefore, I, JoEllen Reed, Mayor of the City of Winchester, do hereby proclaim the week February 5th through the 9th, 2024, Family Resource and Youth Service Coordinator Appreciation Week. So if we would like to have all of our resource ladies and gentlemen that are here this evening, we have Ms. Roz Gay, Ms. Dina Graham, Ms. Eva Miller, Ms. Christy Carter, Ms. Casey Davis, Ms. Michelle Mitchell, and Ms. Whitney Snell.
Oh, we're gonna squeeze in here. I think I can get you back on this group. Okay, sounds great.
picky. Can we just get, just stay up? Okay. That way we won't have any heads in the back. Yeah, right. Okay, great. This looks perfect. All right, here we go. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Bush. Great, thank you.
Okay. All right, there is no public comment, so we will move to Student Learning and Instructional Services. Ms. Fitton, acknowledge CCPS Instructional Spotlight. You're fine.
Tonight's Student Learning and Instructional Services Spotlight will center around the preschool, Clark County Preschool, and Shear Elementary. So I'm going to turn it over right now to the preschool.
Hello. Hello. I'm Jill Blanton. I'm the principal at Clark County Preschool, and this is Hannah Abner. She's the facilitator at Clark County Preschool. And so we are absolutely honored tonight to come here and present one of the great things that is happening at Clark County Preschool. And we chose tonight to spotlight the pyramid model. And you might know that more as the positive behavior support system. And so 2 years ago, we partnered with the Berea Regional Training Center to do a pilot program at preschool on the pyramid model. And we are a large program, so we met with Misty Head and Sonia Michaels through the Berea Regional Training Center, and we decided to do 2 phases because our program is rather large. And so we decided on phase 1, we would start with 8 teachers. We chose 8 teachers, and they were involved in an intensive professional development on the pyramid model. Some of the things that they also did was they developed our school-wide behavior matrix, which Hannah will talk about a little bit later and show you what that looks like. But they also participated in coaching calls. And so monthly, they would have some observations. So Misty Head would come over to Clark County. She would do observations in our classrooms. And then we would do coaching calls and follow up with her on things that we were doing well and some suggestions that they may have. So our first phase finished up in May, and they kind of graduated the program, and then we started our phase 2. So phase 2 included the rest of our certified staff, and it also included our instructional assistants. And so they went through the 3 modules of professional development, which again was intensive. They have also been through observations and monthly coaching calls. And then this time they did a little bit more intensive work with that behavior matrix because the first group developed them. This group kind of looked more and dove into them. And so this group, phase 2, is about to, well, they actually finished their last module last week. So they completed that program. And the last phase of phase 2 is to train our bus drivers and bus monitors. And so the Monday after spring break, we are bringing over our preschool bus drivers and our preschool bus monitors, and we will train them on the pyramid model. And we also have already made a matrix for them for the buses. And so the kids are able to see this matrix and this behavior support system across all settings. So they'll have the matrix on the bus, and they'll also be able to earn rewards from following those expectations on the bus. And again, I'm not going to steal Hannah's content, so I'll let her talk about that. But another thing that we also did is we really wanted to make sure that we were implementing this across all settings. And as most of you know, that we have a great partnership with the Winchester Parks and Rec, and they provide swimming lessons to our students. We also have a matrix that's hung at the pool, and if you've been there and you've seen it, it's the preschool swimming matrix. And so they also have their behavior expectations at the pool, and they know what they are expected to, the rules and that they're expected to follow while they're there. And so I've kind of gave you a really brief, but full of a lot of information of an introduction to the pyramid model. I'm going to let Hannah talk a little bit more about what those matrix look like, the positive support systems, and how it has affected and impacted our program.
So in phase one, when looking at what expectations do we want to do in the preschool setting, we decided on be respectful, be responsible, and be safe. So what does that look like across all of our settings? So in the middle of those pictures is our school-wide expectations. So what does that look like at meal times? What does that look like in the hallway? So very simple preschool-friendly language, which also is supported with really nice visuals. So we have school-wide matrices, we have classroom matrices, so what does center time look like, what does whole group instruction look like, and small group instruction as well. So with these matrices, we also established a positive acknowledgement system. So our teachers decided to utilize something called bucket fillers. So if I'm following those 3 expectations, I get a bucket filler. When I fill my bucket, I get a reward. Also, when I fill my bucket, it goes towards my classroom reward that the classroom votes on, which is really nice. So those are just some examples of students filling their buckets. Some students put a pom-pom in a bucket, some students utilize a sticker, some use a dauber, and then earning classroom rewards as well. So they really like filling their buckets. It's really cool when you're in a classroom and they see that they're filling their buckets and they get super excited about it. And then also just the benefits, the overall benefits of utilizing those positive acknowledgement systems is that we are only acknowledging positive behaviors, right? So when we acknowledge our positive behaviors, those negative behaviors decrease. So just making sure that we're really focusing on our positive language, our positive interactions within the classroom setting as well. And we have just seen a tremendous improvement as far as student behavior overall across settings.
And another thing that we talked about, we actually presented today at the Berea Regional Training Center on what we're implementing in Clark County. And one of the other things that I talked about was the kids are so excited when they fill their buckets, but the greatest thing is they'll come to the teacher, and I seen this when I was doing a walkthrough last week. The student got a bucket filler, they took it over and they put it on their bucket, and they come back and said, Miss Rachel, I have 3 more stickers before I fill my bucket. So they're doing math. Like they're doing math. It was a bucket that has 10 opportunities to get filled, and they were able to do the math and come back and tell Miss Rachel they need 3 more stickers and they're going to fill their bucket. So it's just been we have seen so many positives from implementing this program. Do you have any questions?
I don't. Does anybody else?
No.
Great job.
Yeah, sounds
Thank
great.
you all.
Thank you, Liz.
Good evening, I'm Diana Jackson, principal of Shear Elementary. Joining me tonight is Assistant Principal Lindsay Campbell. We would like to highlight the great things that are happening at Shear. We would also like to invite you to stop by anytime to actually see these in action. So the first thing is our co-teaching model, station teaching that we're implementing this year. True collaboration between our general education teacher, our special education teacher, and our instructional assistant. So what that looks like in the classroom is our EC teacher will front load and kind of level the playing field for students so that they have graphics or visuals to know what's coming next from the general education teacher. And then when they travel to a new station, they will learn their academic standards, and then to a new station with the instructional assistant to practice their standards for the week. And we have observed a lot of collaboration, a lot of students working together and sharing ideas, and it has truly been a game changer for us.
Something that you've heard a lot about, I thought Mr. Howard was going to pop out a stand-up, hand-up. So Kagan, we are following that initiative at our school, and academics, that's of course very important, but also the whole child and being able to communicate and talk with one another, share ideas, represent themselves in our community. That's the end goal, the whole child. So Kagan is a major part of our focus this year. It's really exciting when we're doing walkthroughs. We are really seeing our students students being able to engage with one another and they're not able to hide, and not answer a question or not feel like they're participating. So that's been something that our district initiative that we're following, but also we can just see the impact that it's making in our students' lives each and every day. Just the ability to talk and share, and like she said, we would love for you guys to come out and see that in action multiple times a day. Like I said, we're in classrooms and kids are participating in that, and one of our teachers, they were gonna be out and the kids were like, "Are you going to Kagan tomorrow?" So our students are really knowing that our teachers are getting trained, and so it's just a wonderful thing to see our students really take ownership of their communication, and our teachers really leading that initiative. Our instructional specialists are very supportive in that, helping us, our internal coaches, our teachers in the building who have taken on leadership opportunities to really coach and help their peers, which has been very powerful at our school. So we appreciate your all's support as well.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was getting ready for the next.
Oh, no, you're
Yeah.
fine. I was letting her come and
Oh,
get
sorry.
seated. All right. All right, okay. Consider approval of, I lost where we were. Consider approval of second reading of entrance age policy.
Tonight, I'm bringing to you the entrance age policy for the second read. Nothing has changed from the last time that I presented. So I'm asking that you all approve the second read of the entrance age policy.
Any questions?
I make a motion to approve the second reading of the entrance age policy.
Motion by Ms. Hall,
I'll second that.
second by Mr. Dorsey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries 5-0. All right, student support services. Consider approval of donation in the amount of $5,000 to support the GRC 2024 project graduation event. Mr. Toy.
So Mr. Toy is engaged in some other things, so I told him I would cover this. This is something traditionally the board has always supported. This is the number that the board gave them last year. This does a lot of things for project graduation event. The main thing is give kids somewhere to go after graduation that's safe and structured. And really one last time to hang out as a cohort. The graduating class of 2024 has been through a lot together. And so it would be my recommendation that you guys would consider the donation.
I make the motion to approve the monetary donation in the amount of $5,000 for
Motion.
project graduation.
Motion by Ms. Hall, you're good.
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Dorsey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Consider approval of MOU with Sun Kentucky and Clark County Public Schools.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Allison Nelson, MTSS specialist. I'm here to present and seek approval for an MOU with Sun Behavioral Health. And really, we are pursuing this in an effort to provide a really comprehensive range of programs that meet the diverse needs of all of our learners. District leadership, we have been exploring various avenues to expand the educational alternatives that are available specifically to our younger population. So we're really looking at our students kindergarten through 5th grade. We're looking to establish a partnership with Sun Behavioral Health in order to offer elementary age students an alternative educational setting that provides increased and intensive behavioral and mental health supports. Currently, as many of you know, our district does offer similar supports to students in grades 6 through 12 through our Phoenix Academy and some of the other opportunities we're offering through our Innovation Center. But we currently have a gap for our younger students. So the implementation of this program in partnership with Sun Behavioral Health will assist in ensuring that our school district is really providing extensive supports for students across all of our grade levels. Do you guys have any questions regarding the MOU or the proposal?
I saw that it said intensive outpatient, so are we thinking of housing them someplace specific? Like, are we gonna move them out of the classroom, or is it gonna be done in the school system, in the
It
school?
will be, so it will be on a school campus. Location hasn't
We don't
been
know.
determined yet, but it
Okay.
will be on our school campus. So really coming back to the idea of reducing barriers, to increase access to services is really our goal. So with the program being located on school grounds, we would be able to provide transportation for our students.
Yeah, I will say as a community partner in my day job, this is something that's very much needed in our community because we are lacking therapists, clinicians. There's just not a lot out there. So I think that any partnership that we have is a wonderful thing. And this age group especially needs, and and when you do therapy with a 6-year-old, it's a lot different than doing a therapy with a 15-year-old.
Very much, yes,
So,
yes.
yes.
So yeah, thank you. I appreciate those words of support. That really means a lot. I think that this could have a very positive impact for our students and our community at whole, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I overstepped you.
No, you're fine. All right, does anybody else have any more questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the MOU with Sun Kentucky and Clark County Public Schools.
Motion by Mr. Dorsey,
Second.
second by Mr. Bennett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson.
Consider consenting to the, and I cannot say that. I'll let you say it, because I can't.
Annexation.
Yeah, okay. Of the new preschool property to the city of Winchester. I can sit here and try all day long. We'll never get it out.
As we prepare for our wonderful new preschool to be completed and online, so to speak, the board has been asked to consider having that property annexed into the city as Strode Station, Baker Intermediate, or both within the city. It would mean that that property would also receive city services from Winchester Police, Winchester Fire, Public Works. We would pay city rates for sewer, water, all of those things. So we, Ms. McCoy here has drafted a letter or a consent for annexation for the board to consider.
Any questions? Not, would anybody like to make a motion to Mr. Okay, would anybody like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
All right, motion by Mr. Bennett,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Hall. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 5-0. Consider approval of the purchase and sale agreement of the purchase of 2 lots located on Shoppers Drive.
So I'll probably turn that over to you here. I think this motion would authorize Mr. Howard
To close.
to close on these properties.
So the board had already approved the potential purchase and sale agreement of these 2 lots. That was subject on approval of KDE. We've already got preliminary approval. We're waiting on one final thing to be able to close with the title. And we're just asking that the board approve that purchase is final and authorize Mr. Howard to sign in any and all necessary closing documents.
Any questions? If not, would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the contract.
Motion by Ms. Hall. I'll second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 5-0. Consider approval of MOA between CCPS and CCYA for use of the field beside Justice Elementary School.
So in your information there, you'll see an MOA between the school district and Clark County Youth Athletics to be able to use that field there beside Justice for their youth football program. They have been, and we've previously had an agreement with them, but it was time to update that, and so we've got a new MOA. There's no cost to them for that, as we fully want to support our youth programs here in the county.
Were you able to make contact with them? Have you talked to any of them?
Not recently.
They were looking at, wanting to put bathrooms in at their cost on, but they wanted some other things added into this. I mean, I'm fine with going ahead with this one, but you may want to reach out with them and kind of get with
Okay.
them, because we may need to go back and revisit.
The last time I met with them, we had not talked about that, but I can certainly do that.
Has that been, this has been like within the last month, have you talked to them since then?
It's
Okay.
been about a month ago, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
And if they were gonna make improvements or changes to the property, that would of course require Katie's approval.
Yeah.
right, well, that's why I sent them to Brandon, because,
Yeah,
But it
we would just
just-
have to sit down and look at kind of what their thoughts are, and then, you know, kind of cross-check that with some of the requirements and stuff that we have to follow.
right, okay. Do you have Jess's number? Okay,
No, but I'll get it from you.
I don't have it either, but we'll get it.
Okay, all right, all right.
All right, thank you. I'll make that motion to approve the MOA between CCPS and CCY.
I'll second.
All right. Second by Mr. Bennett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Consider approval for Tim Eaton with KSPMA to facilitate the local planning committee and district facility plan process.
All right, so every year, every school district has to create a brand-new district facility plan. It's in Kentucky Administrative Regulations, 702 KAR, Chapter 4, Regulation 180, that school district must develop a local district facility plan every 4 years in accordance with the schedule set by the Commissioner of Education. The Kentucky Board of Education shall approve the district facility plan submitted by the district upon the recommendation of the Commissioner of Education. So our time is coming up to redo our district facility plan. It is due December 1st. And I'm going to kind of speak about both these next two items. We kind of follow the school facility planning manual, and in that, we're required to retain an architectural firm to be able to conduct evaluations of our existing facilities. They evaluate building and site conditions, inventory, analyze building and site needs, provide plan drawings for each building floor and site, provide construction cost estimates to correct deficiencies. So there's a lot of things that kind of go into that, and they do a lot of the background research for the local planning committee to be able to generate this district facility plan. So Tim Eaton has been a facilitator. He has worked with Clark County in the past, and he did our last district facility plan. It is optional to work with a facilitator, but he does have some background knowledge, has worked with Clark County before, is an expert with leading districts through these processes. So we would ask the board to consider approval for Mr. Eaton to help facilitate that process. And then next month, we will start, I'll be back to the board to start getting our local planning committee together, the LPC, to begin this work. And then the second motion would be, or the second item there, would be to work with Ross Tarrant, who is the architect that we're also working with on the preschool project, and who have a lot of the site plans, building plans, and again, the background knowledge to be able to make this process as efficient as possible. So, any questions about that?
No, I would strongly recommend both of these people from sitting on the board, or sitting on this committee with them for the last
Yeah.
4 years. So they've done a great job. And I'll make a motion to approve Tim Eaton with KSPMA to facilitate the local planning committee and district facility plan process.
I'll second that.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
I'll motion to approve Ross Tarrant to assist in the completion of the KFI and the classification system.
All right, motion by Mr. Stewart. I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
One last thing I was going to mention is on both of these, the prices that they are set by KDE, so it is those prices are set, so we
Right.
follow their guidelines.
Thank you, Ms. Watkins.
All right. Ms. Ellis, acknowledgement of monthly CCPS financial update.
Evening, everybody.
Yeah.
Good evening.
So in looking at where we stand this time compared to a year ago, we're really, really close. We're 60% on our receipts. We were 59 last year, so we're right there. Same expenditures, we're 45 this year. We were 43 last year, percentage-wise. So we're very consistent district. I mean, that hasn't come across in our reports lately. Taxes were down just a few percentages from this month a year ago, but we know that we are almost 100% collected. We're at 96. We're only 4% away. The bulk of it is really just our franchise. It's kind of, we got a big, huge check on that this last month because the month before there was nothing there. So that's one of those taxes we're not sure when that will come in. But tax season is, wrapping up for a lot of businesses, so we'll start seeing that coming in. And then motor vehicle, we're at 49. It was 63 last year. So I still don't foresee, even with those numbers being a little bit smaller this time frame around compared to last time, that we won't meet our budget. We're very conservative in our budgeting. Any questions? Concerns about anything?
No, we can continue on.
Pay our bills next.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Authorize payment of salaries and accounts payable. Anybody want to make the motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
All right, motion by Mr. Dorsey. I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Consider approval to escrow Ket's second offer of assistance.
So this is our second offer for this year for our KETS, which is our technology money, and this is a matching. We have to match it dollar for dollar. So we're asking to escrow it for the 3 years, but we have gotten in a cycle where we budget this the very next year, but we always just ask for that 3-year escrow for the safety net of that. But this is basically Mr. Case's budget to operate on for our technology in the district. So we would ask that you please agree so we can match it and he can have his budget.
Are you okay with that, Mr. Case? Okay, all right, want to make sure.
I'll make the motion to consider to approve the escrow to take Cats to offer assistance. Second offer.
All right, motion by Mr. Bennett,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Dorsey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Staff retention and recruitment. Consider approval of annual one-time stipend for adoption and infertility. Oh, I love this. Treatments up to $5,000.
Thank you. So we're bringing before you this new option to our benefits package for adoption and infertility assistance for our staff. So right now, there are only 13 states in the U.S. that offer government employees these type of benefits, and unfortunately, Kentucky is not one of them. So, but Clark County can now be the first in the state to provide these benefits to its staff. So there are stipulations in your packet of who could qualify for the benefits, and that you can only qualify for the benefits once a year. and it would be in a reimbursement form.
That's awesome. You told me you were on a mission. You got there. So, any questions?
No.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve, the annual one-time stipend for adoption and infertility treatments up to $5,000.
Second.
And second by Mr. Bennett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you all so much.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Pierce.
So following up what you all just approved, we need to update our salary table to reflect that stipend so we can pay it, and it will be the board approved stipend. So you see that on your district stipend list. We've listed that, and it's upon proof of payment that they would be reimbursed that. And then also, just in reviewing it, cleaning up the schedule, we had agreed to do a stipend for our high school GRC SROs, since they have such a larger group to take care of. And so they get an extra $2,000, and we had failed to actually list it on the stipend schedule to be able to pay those folks come our May stipend. So we just started that this year, so they will get that from the January to this, so they'll get the $1,000 this year, but this will start full $2,000 next year for just our GRC SROs. And then also you'll see the responsibility factor, which has extended days and percentages on it. We are asking that for our instructional specialists that we put a range of 20 to 53 days, and the purpose of this is retirement on the certified side. If it is not actual listed as their contract, they don't get to count that towards their retirement. And we have found the need that we have occasionally had to give extra days to our instructional specialists that are in the different areas for them to help service and get done what we need done. But that doesn't count towards their retirement if we give it to them beyond that 20 days that used to be listed. They get paid for it from our point, but they don't get to count it towards their retirement because of the contract versus extra service base. So we're asking that we just fix this so that we can have that availability to do that range for them, and then it would count towards their contract if they receive beyond the 20 days. So we're just trying to add a few things to get people paid correctly for retirement and their services for us.
I'll make the motion to approve the updated salary tables.
Motion by Mr. Dorsey. I'll second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Superintendent, I see you
Am I
looking
up?
at me. You are up. You were really
I'm
excited,
ready.
AJ.
He's ready.
Look, this section could actually go on for hours with all the great things happening at Clark County Public Schools.
Well, before you start, would you like to introduce your new board member? This is
Sure,
our first
so
board meeting.
this Miss Jennifer Simpkins, representative of District 1. So welcome to the Board of Education. You hear it's your first superintendent's update, so buckle in. And speaking of which, I know that we recognized social workers previously, so I had this kind of pulled because she doesn't work for us, but she does work hard for our kids. And her side job, now her real job is being a social worker. So I'd like to present this to Ms. Hall for Social Work Appreciation Week, because again,
Thank you.
it's a tough job, so I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I want to build off a couple things that were talked about. One, the LPC process, the Local Planning Committee. From this point, since the board has adopted that, we're going to be putting together a committee. And that committee is going to be made up of one board member. We'll have them select their representative next month. But really this process is a local planning committee, which means we need people in the community. We need community volunteers. We need representatives from administration, from if you're interested, if you're in a business, if you live in Clark County and you're a parent. So there's 20 people that make up this committee. And again, if you're interested, please contact Mr. Watkins. For administrators, there are a certain number of administrators, a certain number of teachers. You have to live in Clark County to qualify. So I also want to make sure, if we have folks that don't live in this district, even if they work for us, they cannot be on this committee. So again, we're excited about the process because this is part of building our vision, our long-term vision, of assessing where we're at with facilities, but also planning of what's next. And so we're very excited because in the last 4 years, in the last actually 2 years since I've been superintendent, we've been able to check off our two number one priorities on our building facilities plan, which number one was getting preschool done. I knew the woo-woo was coming. I just paused and waited, boys. I knew it was coming. And number two is we're addressing our need for our Phoenix Academy and for alternative programming. And we'll continue to work with Ross Duran and probably the board has committed $1.5 million to expand that career center, not just for Phoenix, but for career pathways and in that process. So again, in the last 2 years, we've done a lot of work, which means we're at the point with LPC, we can really look at what's next. There are no more priority ones on our current plan, so we need our community's input. You know, what do we do next? What do we pivot on? What do we need? So again, I implore you almost, encourage you at least, to get involved, because it's our school system, our community, period. So the only other thing, we do have a special called meeting tomorrow evening. We will be focusing, I did get some news out of the Senate and House Legislative Budget Committee today late, so we've got some numbers to shoot at for those meetings. But I'm going to be meeting and presenting teacher salaries for next year, and I want to be very honest and open. We're going to have a great conversation that will be televised, so people can kind of follow along. But it's time we pay our teachers. And I'm not going to get too much into that because they've not approved anything. And like I said, some numbers have come in that are going to give us an opportunity. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. But I didn't want people to think it was going to be stuck as an extra meeting and hid. I want to be very open and honest. We didn't have it tonight because I didn't have the numbers, and I don't make decisions on guesses. That's irresponsible and financially troubling, frankly. So, but we'll be having those conversations tomorrow. And then, just a reminder, there's this thing called spring break coming up. I don't know if any of our staff or students know about spring break. And then the day after we come back from spring break is going to be a staff work day. So that's the day of the clips. We made the decision, again, based on my recommendation to make it a staff work day. One, we're coming off spring break, but two, mainly is the timing of it. We're going to be having an eclipse. Even though it might be full, I remember from the last one, it didn't have to be full to get pretty dark and distracting. And that's going to happen right around when we're putting 3,500 plus kids on buses and trying to get them home. And so I made that recommendation. The board supported me on that. Just again, just a reminder. That's all I got, unless you guys have any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Howard?
I know.
Come on, I know y'all got something. All right, if not, then would anybody like to make a motion or pull anything? Well, first, would anybody like to pull anything off the consent agenda item list? If not, would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion. That we approve.
All right, motion by Mr. Bennett. I keep wanting to call him Mr. Haldane. I don't know. Motion by Mr. Bennett,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Dorsey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 5-0. Okay, and then consider adjournment to executive session per KRS 61.810.
I make a motion to adjourn to executive session.
Motion by Ms. Hall. I'll second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 5-0. We are in closed session at 7:24 PM.